Coach, your general thoughts on the weekend?
The weekend was a hard weekend. I mean, I think when you get down to this time of year where the margins are very slim, you can see the difference in the game. I thought we played really well today. It just didn't take care of a couple of details and a couple of key moments, whether it was finishing and then, they have one shot on goal and it goes in, then a deflection, and all of a sudden we lose 2 points that we probably deserve to get.
How is it playing teams twice? In conference, you've already played those guys before. I know it causes things to be a little bit more tight the second time around. Discuss playing them the second time. I know it's a lot more familiarity and things like that.
Yeah, it is difficult to play teams twice. I mean, and then, there's travel involved, and, they know you and you know them, and then the games get tighter. And then we're going to probably play them a third time even. So, it's a strange dynamic for sure. But I'm glad we're in the league, and I appreciate the administration working so hard to get us in the OVC. So, it's a challenge, but that's what everyone's got.
Last regular season games Thursday and this weekend. We've been talking about this for many of these guys. It's their last games and sentimental. Some of these guys have been around since COVID. Talk a little bit about them moving on and how they're going to be missed in the program and what's next and that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, our running joke is some of the guys have been here for a half decade. When you say that and you think, well, it's true. And then we also, fought through COVID with a lot of those guys, but we really haven't been able to see them grow up, which has been really fun. And then we had another class that came in 21, so we've got a really large group of seniors, and it's my favorite part of my job is just watching them come in as young guys and seeing them go out as men. And our focus really with our program is, of course, we want to win a lot of games, but we're trying to grow men for others and champions for Christ. And I just see that group being a large group of seniors that are men for others.
Lastly, now we've already qualified for the OVC tournament. Don't know where seating's going to be. We'll see how that shakes out here in the next hour or so. Where do you want to see, besides heading towards the championship, where do you want to see yourself moving forward now into the OVC tournament?
Yeah, I mean, now it's kind of a win in advance, right? So it doesn't really matter whether it looks good or not. You just got to go and get it done. I think these two games were really good performances under a decent amount of pressure with two good teams in our league that we had already faced, and we'd already beaten both of them. So I think that's also a little more motivation for them. So I think we're in a great spot. We talked about treating these two games as winnable games, but more like preseason. Let's make sure we're playing our best when we get to the tournament. And I thought we had a good weekend and look forward to next weekend.
Luke, thoughts on the weekend? Might not have been the results you wanted, but you have to be pleased with your team's efforts.
Yeah, soccer's a cruel sport sometimes, and you kind of get into the back end of the season. Teams are fighting for last points, so they're really playoff games towards the end of the season. So just kind of got to go into every game trying to win, and sometimes soccer just doesn't go your way.
Also, playing those guys for the second time through the thing. What is that like for people that don't know how that goes? I mean, this conference is a little different that you're playing each other twice. What's it like playing the same team twice?
In some ways, you kind of have a better idea of what they bring to the table, but you also kind of have history with the other team, so that also causes issues, usually a little more chippier, but you're trying to switch up a few things, just kind of throw them off, but at the same time, there's only so much you can do. It's kind of just fighting for another game.
This being your last game here, how I know it's emotional for you. Can you describe that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I'm just grateful. Looking back after 5 years playing here, I'm just so thankful for everyone that's poured into me, not just my teammates, but the coaches, support staff, training staff. I mean, there's just so many people out here that support us in everything we do, and I think that's really, after 5 years, you don't really remember a lot of the games, but you remember the people that poured into you.
Lastly now, regular season's over, headed into the OVC tournament. We'll know later today about seeding and things like that. What are you looking forward moving on now with this group into the tournament? Of course you want to win a championship, but where do you feel you're headed going into there?
Basically, you're going into the tournament just trying to make your season last as long as you can. And you do that by kind of pushing people on, motivating people by saying you're playing more, you're trying to get one more practice for the seniors, and that's kind of the big motivation. And as a senior, I hope the young guys are kind of playing for us. They're trying to get one more practice, one more game with the older guys. So that's kind of the goal, that's the motivation, and just trying to extend the season as long as you can.